Wow, thank you, Arnie. Not only for those beautiful words, but for bringing us to Boston. I'll tell you, it was really not easy to let go of hosting this retreat. But wow, it's been amazing here. It's been great to be a guest of yours this time. And I don't know, you did a good job of rivaling the view of the ocean we have at our retreat. So this is fantastic. Okay, excuse me for this. This is new for me, okay? I'm not used to this thing of doing this, but now I'm reached that age. I gotta do this. Okay. Of all the conversations our family had over Passover, there's one that echoes hauntingly in my mind. Our 20-year-old son, a graduate of Jewish day school, challenged me by building a case for indistinguishable worlds. He persuasively posited that since the capability exists to build alternative universes through artificial intelligence, it is more likely that we are living in a fabricated world than the real one. He said, Mom, statistically, there's a better chance that we are in a virtual world game on somebody's screen than in a real world. I sat quietly pondering. Here we go. What is a real world anyway? And if we are, he continued, the creator of our artificial world is the same as God as we understand him in what we think is our real world. He watched my expression. Well, I was too. I was processing. Although I had heard this concept before, I really hadn't given much thought to it. I gathered my courage and I answered him. It doesn't matter, I said. Whether we are living in a real world or an alternative one, it's all the same to me. It doesn't change my concept of God or my responsibilities, my role as a Jew. There, that was my wisdom. It doesn't matter. Our reality is our reality because real is a relative term, right? Hey, like if I'm living it, it's real. Friends, we find ourselves at this time in a place where a Sunday Times top 10 bestseller is authored by an Israeli who proclaims that God is dead along with plague and the famine. That there is no scientific evidence of a soul, therefore it must be a fabrication of the human-centric being who wants to live beyond his physical years. In his bestseller, Homo Deus, Yuval Harari writes, and I quote, "For all you know, the year might be 2216 and you are a bored teenager immersed inside a virtual world game. Once you acknowledge the mere feasibility of this scenario, mathematics leads you to a very scary conclusion. Since there is only one real world, whereas the number of potential virtual worlds is infinite, the probability that you happen to inhabit the sole real world is almost zero." Well, kudos to my son. I don't know if he read the book, but he's clearly well read on popular wisdom out there questioning our perceptions of reality. Now, I don't know how to validate or invalidate this hypothesis, but bingo, this is what resonated in the head of my very Jewishly raised son. So good, great. Questioning and wrestling with existence and God are healthy. I don't know about you, but this is not what I was thinking about at 14, 17, or even 20 years old. As parents and educators, we need to consider what it means that what was once solid ground is now shaky earth, because basic assumptions that we take for granted are unearthed, so to speak, by ideas and theories that are fundamentally unsettling. We in the Jewish education business have a responsibility to design our schools to meet the rapidly changing needs of teens immersed in a new world of real versus artificial, where realities are virtually created and torn down. I have, for 5 years now, opened this Innovators Retreat by stating and restating a guiding principle of JEIC. The Jewish people, educators, the Jewish wisdom in this room will provide the creativity and innovative response to our education challenges. It remains my belief that the first hurdle to jump in this race, and it is a race against time to secure our future generations, is to establish for ourselves an independence of thinking about how we educate Jewishly that is founded on Jewish ideals. I have long believed that there is a hidden balance that sustains our world. When we see something that's out of whack or unjust, it's usually the case that it is there as a counterweight to some other pre-existing extreme. Confusing? Okay, look, here it is. We live in a world of confusion. Wrong is right. Everyone is right. There is no wrong. Everyone's a winner. There are no losers. My other son, age 24, recently said to me, "Mom, everything wrong with our generation started with giving trophies to every player on the winning team and every player on the losing team." Somewhere along the way, we as a culture decided that everyone has a right to, well, everything. And therefore, the value of every accomplishment is diminished. To build self-esteem in our kids in this world is a tremendous challenge. To instill moral and ethical codes in a world where every behavior is acceptable is a tremendous challenge. To restore a sense of perspective and humility in a world which passionately protects both humanism and barbarism at the same time, it's a tremendous challenge. To successfully educate Jewishly in today's world of extremes will take a counter-extreme to today's norm of wrong equals right. And that counter, to my mind, is a contemporary illumination of what we have always carried with us, our roots of unequivocal values and behaviors. Timeless Jewish wisdom is the antidote, the therapeutic other extreme to popular culture that lures us distant from our core. Packaging this wisdom for a 21st century classroom to make it relevant and accessible for our kids, that's the challenge we at JEIC presented to the field. Instead of cultivating a distinct pedagogy for conveying our diverse and holy tradition, we have for too long, under the modern Jewish day school system, imitated a Western model of education. We copied this model, which works even less well for the conveyance of Jewish ideals, texts, and values than it does for general studies. While the task of general studies may be to create striated competency in a human being, the task of Jewish studies is to create a complete human being. One is rewarded by accomplishment, the other by effort. We can change careers or acquire new competencies, but we cannot change the essence, the DNA of who we are. I imagine Jewish studies as bringing to the fore this holy essence in each Jewish student in ways that make it lifelong and therefore generational. We call this retreat Oasis of Change because our vast Jewish day school landscape is dotted with beautiful, flourishing islands of inspired education. JEIC joined other change agents in the field and is striving to create a platform for cohesive and effective change. We began by engaging with Jewish educators and professional leadership to stimulate new ideas with our school challenge. Our new initiative, HaKaveret, is JEIC's groundbreaking design team through our first joint philanthropic initiative. We have a goal of collaboration and cultivating powerful partnerships in the coming year. As Jewish education innovation gains momentum, engagement with the broader community is essential to stimulate culture change. Parents, influencers, and funders are all necessary to move the Jewish world from follower to leader in education. Working together, we can proliferate a change and create a Mayan HaMitgaber, an ever-renewing and strengthening spring in the field of Jewish education. JEIC is a movement of change that is proud to integrate voices and talents from across the Jewish spectrum. This is not just a platitude. This is integral to our success. Why? Because uniting through our commonality is our best strategy to ensure the next generations of Jews. Jewish education is a vital part of our national identity and future. It's our responsibility to pass on culture, tradition, Jewish law and text, love of God, land, and people. It's the basis for personal fulfillment that transcends the measures of success in material terms. Our unifier is the goal to embody Jewish values and live a holy existence beyond oneself. That is, in its essence, Jewish and inspires our collective call to action to optimize our educational content, delivery, and evaluation models. If you've seen the movie, 20 years old now, Men in Black, you'll remember at the end, the alien creature spinning our world like a marble. The idea of our world as an alternative one is not new. But it has moved from whimsical fantasy to probable reality. Not surprisingly, it has origins in Jewish tradition, in Kabbalah. I still respond, it doesn't matter. Jewish education must be current and relevant regardless. To that end, our program today unveils some of the newest concepts and educational models in the field. I want to thank you for joining me, our JEIC team, and partners for an experience today that showcases bold, positive action toward the future of Jewish education and mission of the Jewish people. And a note of thanks to our sons, Nathaniel and David, for allowing me to use their worlds and their words as inspiration. Thank you so much.